Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And today we're talking about a system that can actually help our minds to feel calm. If you have so much to do, but you want your mind to just be at ease, then keep listening and we'll cover how to do that today. As an announcement for anyone listening to this podcast right when it goes live, we have two really special events to celebrate the completion of our big STEP program revamp. STEP stands for Steps to Everyday Productivity. It's our signature program here where we help you to build a command central and to get all of the stuff out of your head and organized so your flat surfaces are clear and you feel like you can actually move forward on those things that truly matter to you. And we've had tens of thousands of people go through this program over the last decade, and we just redid the entire thing with new videos and step-by-step instructions, just updated, refreshed. It's the same system, but it's just taught more simply in a more user-friendly way. And we're so excited around here to be able to get it out. So what we're doing is on April 23rd, that's a Tuesday, we're going to have a special Clear the Space event. This is for anyone in the community. It's totally free. We're going to show you how you can actually create a solid space for your command central. That's building a foundation for it. Then, if you are part of our Step Mastery program, on Thursday, we're doing an all-in-one step. It's a one-day event where we're going to meet virtually and help you actually go through the program and build your command central with us, with the team, with the community. It'll be amazing. Now, if you aren't in STEP, we'll give you some resources from our free YouTube channel and here on the podcast that can support you moving forward, so we won't leave you hanging. But if you're not yet in Step Mastery, we would love to have you come be a Step Mastery member, come meet with us live and get that support so you can just have your whole command central built this month. So, okay, I'll just give you quick links and then we'll move on with the podcast. But if you want to learn about both events and you want to get registered, go to LearnDoBecome.com/step2024. That way it'll be specific to 2024. I know most of our podcast listens happen when people start binging the podcast. And so you might not be hearing me for 5 more years or whatever. But anyway, we're so happy you're here. So yeah, go to LearnDoBecome.com/step2024 and you can get all the details. Okay, let's dive into today's podcast about having so much to do, but having a mind that is at ease. And I want to explain how that happens because this is an amazing, exciting, powerful phenomenon that happens literally every day here at Learn, Do, Become. And it can happen for you too. It's that ability to really have your mind feel completely calm and at ease. Even if you're in a busy season, you have a ton going on in your life, you've got deadlines, something went wrong, new problems, new challenges, whatever, you're tired. All of those things are, normal in life. But if you can learn how to be able to move through life and move through all of those challenges without it getting your mind in a flurry, it's pretty amazing, right? Now, most people don't know that it's even possible. In fact, I have a good friend who got online and was teaching everybody about, entrepreneurship and projects and said, you just need to understand that you're always going to be overwhelmed, so just get used to it. And I felt so sad hearing that because I don't feel overwhelmed and I am an entrepreneur. And if I had felt overwhelmed throughout this whole process, I wouldn't have enjoyed any of it. I also have heard a lot of people say, well, just don't worry about your list, or just rip it up, burn the to-do list, or just pick a few things from it and then just get rid of the rest of it. And there are also some people who want to have their mind feel crazy because they feel like that's evidence that they are doing a good job and being responsible because, they're worrying about a lot of things. And I've definitely been there. I think I've been in all of these situations. Now, the problem with the philosophy of you're just going to be stressed, so rip up your list, is it doesn't tell you what to do with all the things that are going to go undone. Either the list just gets longer or you're keeping more things in your head, but that causes stress. So then most people just live with that stress. And the problem with the philosophy of, well, I want or need to feel crazy inside my head so I know I'm productive and responsible, is that you don't actually enjoy your life because you're just living with tension. And often then you end up sick and you end up feeling like, every day is just this grind. And if every day you're waking up and just pushing yourself over and over and over again, it doesn't feel good. And how long can you really hold out? I can't do that. So anyway, today I want to share a beautiful message we received from Amanda. She's one of our steppers. And I want you to pay attention to how much she has on her plate, but then compare that with how her mind feels. I love to be able to just let someone else speak and explain how it works. Okay, so I'll read from what she submitted to us. It's been a while since I posted here because social media doesn't get much attention lately. I manage 3 businesses and a household, and that is a lot. If I didn't have my Command Central, I would be lost and never be able to do all that I do. Now, then she goes through and she explains how she used some file folder labels and in 2 minutes or less got it all put together and shows the files for her Command Central. She includes a photo. So I'll put this on the show notes page. You can just go read it. But then I want to continue what she said. My desk is clean. My emails are at 0, and I have a nice stack of stuff to go through tomorrow in my inbox. But my mind is at ease. I have tasks to do with due dates in my G-Tasks Pro app because without it, I would forget what all needs to be done and can add things in just a few seconds when they come up. My house and filing were a mess before becoming a stepper. My mind was a mess, and I struggled mentally and emotionally. I am so much stronger all of these years later and never miss a podcast and usually watch the Arise replays since I'm usually unable to attend the Zoom meetings. Thank you to the STEP team for all of the good you do in this world. You have no idea how much you have changed my life and the lives of so many of us. Something I never would have imagined will be happening next January. I will be giving a talk at an industry expo about implementing free and inexpensive tools to help streamline business and personal life. I'm preparing now and adding to it bit by bit, and will be practicing for several months so I'm comfortable when I get on stage. I would never have dreamt of doing this when I started STEP. Okay, I love this for so many reasons. It's amazing to see how Amanda is finding balance and how she's caring for her family and how she's increasing in her leadership skills. I mean, this is amazing. So good job, Amanda. Thank you for sharing that with us. So you may wonder how this actually happens. Now, some people think we're here to teach you how to organize your house, but it's actually about organizing our minds. And I really need to emphasize this because I know you know that they go hand in hand, right? When you get your home under control and things just feel calm and put away, our minds will respond to that. Especially females, I've found that we like to multitask. And so when we see all kinds of things out, our brains are trying to move forward on all of them at the same time. So visually, when our environments are calm, it does make a big impact on our minds. The problem is that if we're always trying to organize what's outside as a way to, calm our minds, sometimes we can't get to all of it because there's still a lot of thoughts and goals and things swirling in our brains. But when you work from the inside out, where you really get your mind and all of your thoughts and dreams and goals and projects and expectations and how you kind of track things and organize things in your mind, when you get that settled, then it just radiates. So then you can make that really messy room into a project and move that forward and get it organized. And you can establish routines that are going to keep things feeling really good. So I just want to emphasize when you do that inside out approach, it makes a much bigger impact than if you just go hire someone to come clean your house, for example. That can give you maybe some immediate relief, but it's not going to be the long-lasting relief that will help you not to stay up all night worrying about things. So David Allen, he's the author of the book Getting Things Done. He changed my world in about 2008. He showed me how I could have a resting place for everything in my mind. Now, prior to that, I had things sitting in piles everywhere. And the piles all had to be where I could see them. So, for example, I wanted to work on this book project. So I had a pile for everything related to that book project, and I just stuck it on the floor next to the door of my bedroom. And then I was teaching a class, and I had all these different materials for that class. So I had all those in a pile. And everything that I needed to do, whether it was, helping with our kids' preschool or doing a new home improvement project, whatever it was, a vacation we're planning, they all had their own piles. And my desk was just this tiny little card table, so I didn't have enough room on my desk for every pile. So that's why the piles were all around the perimeter of the bedroom, because I needed to know they were safe, but I needed to be able to access them quickly. Anyway, I just felt like my whole life was setting something down and saying, oh, I'll get to that later. Okay, now pause for a second. I want you to ask yourself, if you look around your office or your kitchen or workspace or whatever, is there anything just sitting out saying, oh, I'm going to get to that later? Because if it's just one thing or two things, typically that's not that big of a deal. But if you have 47 things or 562 things that are all just sitting out waiting for you to get to them, that's causing a cognitive load. That's causing a lot of pressure inside of your mind. That's why you're not able to just relax, because all these things are like waiting in line for you. And so the reason why I always had those piles is because I either had active work or a filing cabinet. Basically, as I was growing up, I was just always taught either you're actively working on something and it's on your desk, or it's filed or should be filed. And then I didn't like filing, so I just had piles of stuff to file. Are you there? So we never really learn any other category. You just learn active work, archived work. But David Allen showed me how there were more categories than that, but not an infinite number, just a handful that I could memorize and create as a part of my system. And then I could finally have a calm mind. So he just rocked my world, changed my life. But then I found that I needed to adapt some things to my life as a busy wife and mother and working on our business and trying to work in a family context. It was a little different than the things that he had explained. So I kind of tweaked the system to really work for me, balancing my family and professional pursuits. And then that's what I've been doing for the last more than a decade, almost 15, 16 years now, helping people to know how to do the same thing. Now, I want to give you a few tangible ways that this actually can happen in your life right now, today, okay? The full STEP program walks through how to build the entire STEP Command Central and shows you how to create each part and have them all work together seamlessly and then maintain it with your weekly review. And it has all the details, but it takes a few hours to go through the program and has, all of the step-by-step instructions there. But let's just go through a few examples right now. So if you're brand new here, or you're just getting started, or you just want to be able to understand more what I'm talking about, you can have that, okay? So first is the current project support materials. This is where we have any papers or booklets or notes or things you've gotten in the mail or PDFs, whatever it is, anything that's related to a project you're working on right now. We can also have support materials that help you with the routines that you're doing. So let's say you teach a specific class once a week and you have certain papers or a manual or slide decks or something that you're going to use for that weekly class. You want to keep them all together. The way that this helps is instead of having piles all around the perimeter of your bedroom or all over your desk or all over the office, you can have a spot for them where you can find them within, 10 seconds that you don't have to trip over every time you try to walk around your space, okay? And so that right there changed my life because I just found like a paper sorter I had at the time. Now I use cubbies. Eric just uses a filing cabinet with folders and keeps them in there. If you have bigger things, you can put them on a shelf. It doesn't all have to be in cubbies or files. But what's awesome is as I got that paper sorter, I was able to say, okay, everything in this section is where I'm going to keep all my journaling. Everything in this section is for the kid stuff. Everything here is for the house. Everything here is for finances. Here's stuff for the business. And I was able to have one spot that held a very organized, categorized, stack of everything that I needed. And it just made it so that when I needed to work on something, I could take 10 seconds and find it. Then I could get right to work. Then I would put it right back, and it's there next time I need it. That's an example that's going to calm your mind, because let me just ask you this question. How many times do you go to work on something and you think, oh, I got to go find this and this and this and this, and you spend 20 minutes digging around looking for things, and then you don't even have the energy to work on that thing anymore because you're so tired from trying to find all the parts. That gets even worse when you have digital files that are all out of order, or you've got a computer desktop that just looks crazy, or you have a actual physical desk that's just covered with stuff that maybe other people put on your desk. And so getting rid of that overwhelm and pressure by just having current project support materials that are categorized and simple, cleaned out, it's going to save you a lot of time, and you're going to find you enjoy working on projects again, because you're actually spending the time moving forward, not just spinning your wheels. Another example is just the someday list. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot if you've listened to the podcast. But having a someday list, I have a little folder, and I put anything in that folder that I want to work on someday, just not right now. These are like my dreams, my hopes. It's books I want to read someday, books I want to write someday, vacations we want to take, service projects I want to do, things I want to do with our grandkids, things Eric and I want to do once we're empty nesters, different projects inside LearnDoBecome, in our community service, right, in the family, all these things. It's so fun to get new ideas. You go on social media or something like Pinterest, and you can just be so excited about all the things there are to do. When you can put them in a someday folder, and I have mine categorized by, professional and personal, and I try to keep it so it's really easy for me to just skim. But that took so much pressure off my brain, and it gave me a way to delay things but not forget about them. In fact, one time I received an email from a mother, I think she was in Peru, and she said, I love the someday folder. That is my favorite, because I'm a mom right now to young children, and it's busy. But I know that my dreams are safe in my someday folder. And I think that means a lot, because then when you're in the middle of, caregiving, or maybe a period of your life where you're sick, or maybe a period of your life where you're on a humanitarian mission or something like that, and you think, oh, I can't do all these other things right now, or maybe you're full-time employed right now with 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and you don't have time for anything else that's really fun right now. You can put that in your someday list, and it's safe. And then the final one I'll talk about today is just the next actions list. This was huge for me because it stopped me from procrastinating and rewriting things. The context-based next actions list is where you have a weekly list organized by where you are when you're getting them done, like home, errands, to discuss, phone, computer. I also add one on right now that has things I'm like listening to or reading, kind of like my personal education for the week. So when time pops up, I know what I want to listen to or read. But what I used to do was write 500 things and then rewrite 500 things and rewrite them, and the list would get longer. And I just had all these lists. And that's what I found with most people in the world is they have a lot of lists, but they can't really move forward on all of them right now for one reason or another. And so they just keep rewriting and or forwarding or having them as overdue tasks, which you know how fun that is to open up your app and see like everything red and it's way overdue, right? And so I just want to emphasize, even just with these 3 things I've covered today, with that current project support materials, the someday folder, and the next actions list, if you just implement those right now, just try it. Anything that's in your head that you're thinking, okay, I don't want this in my head anymore. How could I organize it in such a way that it would just be available to me when I need it, but it's not feeling overwhelming? It's going to change your life. So what's been so fun is as I've implemented these things and then, obviously made adjustments to meet my needs, I found that I started feeling so much more peaceful and joyful. And that's when I started teaching others. Because when your brain doesn't have to hold on to a bunch of details, it feels calm. And that is the biggest gift. When my brain finally was able to turn off at night, when I could, well, not just at night, it could turn off at will. So I could say, okay, right now I'm going to spend time with my husband and I'm not going to think about anything else. I'm just thinking about him. And right now I'm thinking about our children and I'm just thinking about them. We're going to play Candyland or whatever we were doing at the time. And I was so happy to be able to have my full attention on the people I love. That means a lot, whether you're talking on the phone to a good friend, whether you're chatting with a neighbor, even when you're going to the store, just running your errands. When you're mindful, because it doesn't take effort to focus, it's just your natural state of being. How do you think that impacts your health and your energy and your relationships? The trick really is to create that optimal system that can hold whatever you need. And then when that is built, it changes everything. So, okay, I hope that you're feeling excited to have your mind feel calm. I'm going to include a few links on the show notes page. The first one is to our special events page. So it's LearnDoBecome.com/step2024. You can learn about our Clear Space event and our all-in-one step event. That's our first time we're going to be teaching the whole Command Central and the weekly review and all the processing in a day, a one-day seminar. We're just going to get it all done together. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. So really, I hope you'll be part of our Step Mastery program and be able to join that. And then if you are wanting that Clear Space event, that's on the 23rd. And one other fun announcement, if you're not yet in our Arise membership, now is such a great time to join. This month's topic is when the house works. And we're talking about how to actually make the systems in the house so simple and enjoyable that doing housework becomes something that you enjoy as much as lunch out with friends. And I know that might sound weird, but we're going to talk about some of the foundational things that you can do to actually make cleaning and organizing something that feels replenishing and fun and simple. It can involve the whole family and doesn't have to take over your life. So come to LearnDoBecome.com/arise to learn more. And just as a little side note, I had to laugh because right in the middle of recording this podcast, I got a phone call and our whole business just stopped for I don't know, a few hours. We'll see. It's still kind of in limbo, but we had a big tech issue where these things broke down. We had to jump in and do some quick fixes. It's kind of still a little wobbly. We're figuring it out. But the thing is, as this problem came up, this challenge, right? I initially just wanted to be like so frustrated. But recognizing, okay, you know what? We have systems in place for it. Not perfect systems, and you can't plan for everything. But we were able to say, okay, here's what we need to do step by step. Let's go find this link and this coding and this tag, and we're going to put it all together. And Aaliyah and I got on a quick Zoom call, and we're able to make a quick fix, at least good enough for right now. And then we have a step-by-step checklist of what we're going to do a little later today when we're going to put things back and try to get it moving forward once we get the help we need. But it's that kind of thing that can just throw you and can ruin your whole day, right? When some disaster happens, when a car breaks down, when something's broken, when something just doesn't go as planned, sometimes if our minds are already feeling chaotic, that one more thing is going to throw us into a tailspin. But instead, if we can look at it and say, okay, well, this is one of those challenges that we know we're going to get challenges, every day, every week. This is part of life. And we can just look at it and say, okay, what's the next action? What do we need to do? What systems are in place? What systems do we need to put in place to make this better next time? And then how do we move forward from here in the healthiest way possible? It just helps us to be able to keep that calm. So when we're in the middle of regular life, we don't freak out. I've just spent a lot of my life feeling stressed and frustrated, and I don't want to feel like that. I want to be able to feel calm regardless of what's going on. So I got some good practice today. Anyway, okay. Sending so much love. Hoping to see you at our live events. I guess 3 live events. We got the Arise Call, which is happening on April 16th. And then we have our special Clear the Space event on the 23rd. And our All-in-One Step full day event on the 25th. So a fun month. Love you so much. And we will see you soon at LearnDoBecome.com.